let me at this time introduce to you Dr. Ron Hutchins, who's the Chief Technology Officer at Georgia Tech. Actually, at Georgia Tech, Ron's role, it's one of the lengthiest titles I've ever seen, Ron, I've got to hand it to you. Associate Vice Provost for Research and Technology and Chief Technology Officer for the Office of Information Technology. Ron also heads the Academic and Research Technology Department in the Office of Information Technology. So what this really means is that since 1991, Ron has really overseen the development of both wired and wireless telecom and datacom strategies for Georgia Tech's campus networks, and for the research computing environment, and for the collaboration and international education and research community. Ron's also the technical lead for the Southern Crossroads project, which is an aggregation of 22 universities, state education networks, and research labs in the Southeast. So this is a big iron kind of guy, a big network kind of guy. Particularly related to wireless, Ron has developed innovative collaborations with other schools and learning centers so as to utilize wireless technology to enhance the learning process. And core to his doctoral research and applied programs, he has pursued work in nomadic computing and remote access. Ron has kindly actually prepared a few slides to tell us some of the issues he's facing on Georgia Tech's campus. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Ron Hutchins.
Well, I guess everybody's got to have a title. So, the folks that I work with shorten it to Chief Troublemaking Officer, so we'll go with that for tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Clint, it's hard to follow what you just did, but I'm going to give it a shot. So thank you. And I did provide a few slides. I have to start with my favorite Dilbert. Can you read this? Good news, we won the bid to build a national wireless network. It's not AT&T, by the way. Bad news, we don't know how to build a national wireless network. It's a wireless network. How hard could it be to not install wires? You know, when wireless first came to Georgia Tech, I put in the first access points back in 1999 as a part of my PhD thesis, doing that kind of work. I had people say, oh, well, you know, wireless, we don't need to run wired networks anymore. We're going to go all wireless. And it took a little bit of convincing, but this cartoon really says a lot there. A few things to throw on the table. Georgia Tech has been wireless for quite a while, and as it comes down to it, today it looks like access is king, everywhere, anytime. Everybody wants to be wireless. Our researchers aren't sitting at their desks anymore. They're on their iPads, they're on their iPhones. They're controlling huge experiments on big iron high-performance computing remotely, and they're sitting in their homes, they're sitting on the beaches doing this kind of stuff, which is pretty amazing to me. And in fact, a few years back, I was told that our wireless network, which then was quote a production pilot because we still hadn't built up enough tools to be able to manage it according to our specifications for production service. I was finally told, Ron, it is production. The students yell at us when it goes down. You've got to fix this. So now we don't have a choice. It's there. Nick Negroponte, anybody know him from the Media Lab at MIT? His point a few years ago was if it moves, it's wireless. If it doesn't, it's wired. I think that was his motivation to try to recoup some of the television frequencies from the broadcast networks. But you know, that's what we're doing these days. Telecom's moving away from the desk phone. I've heard predictions. You may not agree with these, but 2018, no more wired phones. But we'll see how that works out. Not sure if that's true or not, but that's a prediction that I've heard. Campus telephony these days is looking to move to the SIP protocols, the WebRTC with Wi-Fi on the campus. And to me, you know, basically, if we're moving to LTE, voices, data. So not much different there. Wireless is really an important component to us. There's a couple of things that we have as problems just to throw on the table. High-density wireless in a classroom of 250 students. You think, well, you can support 250 students. Yeah, but they're each bringing in 3 devices with them. And then there's the people out in the hall that are waiting to come in with their 3 devices. And so it's becoming a strange issue. Apple came out with the Bonjour protocol for the Apple TV. It's great for a home with 4 or 5 connections. When you get 30,000 connections, it's not quite so good. We're working with that. Today, Georgia Tech has about 3,600 access points. We've got the 802.11n, which is the fast stuff, which is pretty darn good. And I don't want to get into the details. We've got 18 controllers supporting about 18 different networks. And I love this, another cartoon. It's a bit freaky with this wireless technology. And it is a bit freaky. We have to deal with it all the time. One technical slide, this is probably the most important slide I've got to show you. This shows last year from March, last year through February this year. And does this thing have a laser pointer? It does. Wow. And it's not going to work. If you notice on the left-hand side, you see about 13,000 users, concurrent users, gusting up to about 14,000. And you see where spring break was there. Students were all gone. You see the summer, and then you come back into fall, where we were up to about 18,000 users, and you can see then where Christmas time went. And then you come back at about 19,000 users after Christmas. This is typical for a college campus. You come back after Christmas with the new toys. So this is what we're seeing. Now, this is our users. We have at any one time 25,000 concurrent devices that are synced with the access points, not necessarily logged in, but synced. And this is just on our college campus of about a square mile, maybe a little bit more. So it's been interesting watching our wireless grow from the 30 access points I installed in 1999 to now over really 3,600 access points. Just to sort of summarize here, and I've got a little bit of a video for you. Today's students come with multiple devices. Like I said, they want them all to work seamlessly. We don't have a choice in that. Infrastructure is a lot more than just wired. Did you know that on the Georgia Tech campus, the wireless access points are the biggest users of wired ports? Every access point has to have a wired port. So we think of it as last inch for the wireless that takes it back to the backbone. We don't have a choice. So the services underpinning the wireless, you know, you've got a lot of services on your phone, right? Most of that is just implementing the screen. You're pulling a lot of data from a server somewhere back to your phone. Our folks that are doing wireless apps have we talk to the students every semester about creating apps, and the students say, oh, I'll write it all on the phone, and I say, good luck. You don't have enough power on the phone, even with a couple of processors that are there, and the memory to do the large-scale things. Plus, if you want to do collaboration between multiple people, that makes it even harder. So server resources are a huge part of this as well. Bottom line, there's no going back. In fact, we've taken the wired telephones out of the residence halls. That was an interesting thing when we did that. And we put in wireless to basically get some coverage 3 years ago. We've recently upgraded all of the wireless in the dorms to full coverage with full bandwidth within devices. And we thought, well, the wired ports will go down. No, the wired ports are growing as well. So the students have some of their devices on the wired ports. When they want a solid gigabit per second, which they have in the dorm rooms to do their gaming, they plug it into the wall. Okay? And if we would let them, they'd start businesses out of the dorms. We don't let them. And just to finish up, before you start this, give me just a second. We have a competition every year, actually twice a year now, and AT&T is one of our best sponsors, and I'm not kissing up to Glenn on that. That's just, they've been a great sponsor for this.